Streets of Hollywood Boulevard, seeking his prey.
He comes from a planet very far away.
Bigfoot does not exist.
We're flying into a hole in the sky. There's nothing I can do to stop it. It's sucking us in.
The limits of the third dimension must be transcended by negating the forces of duality and ascending into unity.
Our system known as
The Creepy and Weird Podcast, brought to you by Hippie Steve. Who are these people? They wanted to do the things they do? I don't know. There's the problem. It's like my impression of every Jerry Seinfeld joke ever told. So whatever. You know, is what it is. But welcome to Creepy and Weird. I am your host, Hippie Steve, and thank you for watching another episode of this podcast. You know, it's just is what it is at this point, folks. You know, we took a little 2-week hiatus just to do a little R&R. We did our big interview with one David J. Brown. Very excited about that. I've been promising that interview for quite some time, and finally we got going on it, and David was such a gracious guest, and God, I hope to have him back on, and I'll say the not too distant future, but you know, hopefully have him back on again, as well as other people. But this just isn't an interview podcast, obviously, where we're like 15 episodes in, and that was the first interview I've ever done. So we'll see how that goes, you know. And of course, I have my right hand man, B-Mac on the attack, doing what he does, and I'm doing what I do until the wheels of the third fall off, baby. I know I kind of twisted that, but whatever. You know, we do these all the time. Not all the time, but we do these as much as we can. And, you know, we're just going to get creative and do things a little different. See what works, what doesn't. And, yeah. Hopefully, we could try building some momentum. I'm sure a lot of people watched my David J. Brown interview that haven't watched our podcast before, so hopefully they get a little bit of an idea of what this is about. Even though that was more of a serious interview, they're not used to my whole debauchery on things, but whatever. You know, I am what I am, and that's what I am. So, yeah. You know, it's God, these 2 weeks go by and you kind of feel like, oh, how do I begin these again? I know I like to tell jokes, I like to do rhymes and all that stuff, but, you know, we have to just keep doing these. Like I said, seeing what works and seeing what doesn't, and I'm understanding more and more as far as what you, my fans, all three of you, like to watch. You know, politics doesn't seem to be my thing, even though I'm not really the most political person, but I felt like it was, you know, I was compelled to talk about that a couple videos ago. Didn't do as well as I thought it was going to do, but, you know, I was a little crazy that night too, all things considered, being all hopped up on my diet soda. But yeah. And it is encouraging because B-Mac told me that we got our first piece of fan mail. Didn't expect anything, but he said, hey, this person really wants to talk to you. You know, and he did allude that it was a she, I believe. Was it a she, B-Mac? He doesn't know. Some research you're doing there, B-Mac. But somebody gave me some fan mail. Hopefully it's a female. Not that I'm interested or anything, but it's always good to feed my ego if, chicks are like, oh, hippie Steve. Even like 100% of my audience is male, but whatever. Even if it's a dude, if you like what I'm doing, that's cool, man. So I decided, hey, this guy wants to write to me, or girl. Let's see what this person has to say. So BMAC did send me the fan mail, and I am going to check that right now and see what this person has to talk about. So this is from Rod. BMAC, you do realize that usually the name Rod is a male name. I know I can't assume genders these days with how things are, but rest assured, if this was a chick named Rod, I don't know. But I'm pretty certain that Rod is a male. But Rod, thank you. And Rod is from, am I reading this correctly? He's from Troutdale, Oregon. It's right down the road from where I live. I don't know if I should be scared or not, but Rod from Troutdale, Oregon. We do have a Troutdale out here, believe it or not. And Rod decided to write to me, and he says, Dear Steve, thank you for not just calling me Hippie Steve. I feel weird when people call me Hippie Steve because, my name's not Hippie Steve, it's Steve. It's Hippie Steve when I'm talking to you, but it's just Steve if you're talking to me in a personal fashion. Just FYI, if you ever talk to me, don't say like, oh, look at here, Hippie Steve. Come on, man. I don't know. But Rod says, Dear Steve, I'm a big fan of your podcast. Whoa. You're really juicing up my ego there, boy. Thank you. Each week, I lie sleepless in my bed, waiting for your next episode. It's kind of getting weird, but we'll go with it. I love your beard. Well, thank you, Rod. I love my beard too. I love your smile. You're juicing up my egos even more. I love your skin. B-Mac, did you read this? I mean, he loves the podcast. He loves my beard. He loves my smile. But he loves my skin. This is, we're starting to get in Buffalo Bill territory here, I don't know. All right. Let's see what Rod wants to continue saying as he loves my skin. Well, he kind of ends it there. He says, see you soon. This guy lives over in Troutdale, B-Mac. All right? Might not be hard to find where I live. Troutdale's not that far away. Well, he actually does continue here. P.S. I want to wear you like a sock. And I'm thick like a can of soup. And that's where he leaves it. B-Mac, you didn't read this, did you? Or did you read this and you just don't care? Come on, man. Do you know what a person who says they want to wear you like a sock, what they mean? Especially when they're apparently thick like a can of soup. And this is the only fan mail I got, right? No chicks that want to, stroke my beard. Just some guy named Rod who wants to wear me like a sock. Jesus Christ. The podcast is done. I'm going to go dig ditches for a living or something, or go back to Jiffy Lube. What the Fucking hell. I don't know. I'm done with this. You know, BMAC, if you have more fan mail you want to send to me by people named Rod who are thick like a can of soup, just vet that to me, and then we'll see if we add this to our podcast. Because right now, you're making me look like an arse, all right? I have nothing against anybody who wants to do anything, but I do not want to be worn like a sock. Sorry, Rod from Troutdale. God damn. And see you soon. What you gonna protect me, BMAC? You gonna have your buddy Dick Cheney out there, you know, guarding the perimeters and making sure Rod doesn't come barging in? You know, and oh, God. All right. That's enough of that. We have a subject we want to talk about, but now I'm afraid. I'm afraid for my livelihood. You know, of course he doesn't write anything to you, BMAC. I show pictures of you. You're a better looking person than I am. Just some fat guy with a beard and I don't know. Well, what are we talking about here? What's the subject for today? Well, we're going to be talking about something that's very interesting, something I've done a lot of research on. You know, people accuse me of not doing enough research. I certainly did a lot of research on this one, rest assured. Because I'm always interested in different generations of people. You know, you got the boomers, you got the Gen Xers, you got the millennials, which I am a millennial, and then you got the Zoomers. And the Zoomers are an interesting class of folks. They really are. They're the youngest generation as far as adults. And they got all sorts of unique stuff. I can appreciate Zoomers. I really can. I think they have a decent outlook on life. I don't think they were sold the bill of goods like us millennials were, where I don't know anybody else is a millennial who remembers being in high school and all that, but yeah, if you go and get yourself a college education, you know, you're going to make yourself something. Well, that ended up being a load of shit. And luckily the Zoomers, I think they're already realizing that from, you know, disgruntled millennials like us, saying, hey kids, don't buy into that bullshit. And I think most of them aren't buying into that bullshit. And they're, you know, doing their own things. They're not trying to buy homes like we are. They're not trying to start families like we are and go down these money pits. So, yeah. I do have a lot of respect for Zoomers. But there are some weird aspects to Zoomers that we need to talk about. Especially this. This episode, we will be going over a concept called the Benadryl Challenge. Now, what is the Benadryl Challenge? Well, let me look at my notes here. I'm not going to say it, but I do have notes. And, you know, you could say what you want about us millennials, like, oh, we needed participation trophies and we're lazy and all this type of stuff. These Zoomers, man, they're taking it to a whole new level with certain things, especially their challenges. And some of these challenges are cool, but other of these challenges are, I don't know. The Benadryl Challenge, for example, is one that, you know, if you haven't heard of it, get ready. Buckle in. Buckle the fuck in, because this Benadryl Challenge, probably the weirdest thing I ever heard of. And throughout this whole thing, I'm going to be asking the question, why? Why is this a thing? Why is the Benadryl Challenge a thing? You know, quick break for a drink. Let me wet my whistle here. Probably pretty clear what that was. Diet soda. But, yeah. So, have you ever heard of the Benadryl challenge? Yes, Benadryl. That over-the-counter allergy medication that you typically use when you have the sniffles or you want to, conk out the kids early so you and your main squeeze could go have some much needed rough and animalistic sex. Listening to 9 Inch Nails and getting rough. Your kid's asleep. I don't have any kids, so I use Benadryl. I use it for allergies. I use it maybe if I'm, need to get some sleep. But I certainly don't use it to see shadow people. I certainly don't use it to see the Hat Man. But apparently, these freaking Zoomers are using this as such. And this is by the name, the Benadryl Challenge. Do you know our, society, especially younger Zoomer generations, they're kind of going through this thing called the loneliness epidemic? Did you hear about that? I don't know if that's connected, but what do I know? But, yeah, maybe if people had more friends, they wouldn't be taking Benadryl to blow their minds, man. This is a stark contrast from, the millennials, us, to the Zoomers. They have the Benadryl challenge. Hell, we had the Pepsi challenge, all right? That's about as high as we went. We went higher with other things, of course, but come on. I actually did the Pepsi challenge one time, and I picked Coke. True story. But we're not talking about the Pepsi challenge. We're talking about the Benadryl challenge. Our society's youth is taking this Benadryl thing up a notch. And they're literally using Benadryl as a hallucinogenic drug. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you take Benadryl, doses of Benadryl up to a certain point, you can start having hallucinatory experiences. Before I begin getting into this, I want to make sure that I'm very clear. I'll be clear throughout this whole entire thing. I am not promoting this to be used whatsoever. Do not do the Benadryl challenge. And I'm not joking. I know sometimes I may say things that are like tongue-in-cheek, but 100% here, I'm being 100% with you people. Do not do this Benadryl challenge, because it's the stupidest freaking thing I ever heard in my life. This is why, and I know I'm kind of walking this razor's edge when I talk about these things, but, maybe drugs should be decriminalized. Because these kids are, they're abusing over-the-counter medication that you can just go buy at a store. So if they're doing that, they're going to abuse anything. It doesn't matter. Quit babysitting everybody. Because then you get shit like this. And, Benadryl is a safe and effective drug if used properly. But when it's abused, it's not safe. So let's go over what exactly the Benadryl challenge is. And let me get to these notes. I can just say it, but gotta have the notes, right? Oh, yeah, the Benadryl challenge. First it was the Pepsi challenge, now it's the Benadryl challenge. What next? What's the next generation gonna do? The juggling chainsaws challenge? Seriously, it's getting to that point, folks. People are just looking for a freaking rush, I guess. Why not? I don't know. And I know I said I was going to get into the Benadryl challenge, but before I get into that, I do want to say high doses of Benadryl have side effects that are included but not limited to serious heart problems, seizures, coma, and death. So, yes, do not do the Benadryl challenge, please. This is an entertainment show, paranormal show, allegedly a comedy podcast. But this is an infomercial. I'm not saying do the Benadryl challenge. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into what this Benadryl challenge is. Of course, you can find a lot of this information online in a little place that I like to call the Gates of Hell, also known as Reddit. There's whole forums dedicated to this crap on there, and if you want to look into it, knock yourself out, or just watch this, because I'm going to go over as much as I can. Yeah. Oh. You know, the funny part is, when you go into Reddit and you read the descriptions of some of these people that do this Benadryl challenge, there's a lot of people that say, like, it's like some of the most horrible and scary experiences they ever had. Yet for some reason, they keep doing it. I don't know why. You know, there's so many other things out there. I'm not going to list them, but come on. You know, you can expand your mind in so many different ways. Stuff, you don't even need to use drugs. You use the gateway process. You could do transcendental meditation. You know, you could go hiking or do yoga or go talk to an old person. They'll expand your mind. They're nice. But, yeah, I mean, so there are different levels to what is called the Benadryl challenge. We're going to go over the first level here. And the first level is just your basic. I don't even want to say this is the first level. This is just your first tier experience with Benadryl. The experience most of us have when we're using this the right way, which is like, 25 to 100 milligrams, which is like 1 to 4 pills. I'm a big dude, so I use 4, Benadryls to either help with allergies or to try to help myself get to sleep. I don't use it all the time, but when I do, I use about 4. Don't use any more than that. When I'm doing 4, I'm like, oh my God, I'm hitting it hard. And these kids, they're using a lot more than 4. Wait till you see what these freaking kids are using, man. So, this, basic dosage of Benadryl is considered the therapeutic level. And like I said, it's for allergies, it's to help sleep, but that's not technically part of the Benadryl challenge. It's just worth noting that that's the base level. If you're ever getting into Benadryl, you shouldn't take any more than 4 pills. If you are, I don't know. But let's go into the official levels of what would be considered the Benadryl challenge. We're going to start off at level 1, which is 100 to 200 milligrams or 4 to 8 pills. And this is considered as a FAP dose. These Zoomers and their terminology. I don't know what the hell FAP means. I don't know. Isn't FAP like, I don't know, jerkin? They call it the FAP dose. And people on these doses report slight music enhancement and body heaviness. Also reported is enhancement in sexual experience. Now that's seems all right. Enhanced music, wanting to get it on. But the problem is, easy there, big fella. The problem is that, if you're doing this enough times, you can actually get sexual dysfunction. There's even been people who have reported full-blown erectile dysfunction, which I don't know if you know, but that sort of defeats the purpose when trying to, make love down by the fire. If it's not going up, it's not going down, if you catch my drift. So that's the first level. So that's not that bad. If you don't want to not have that thing working downstairs, then, it is bad. But, you could live with that, I guess. You can take some other medication to help you with that, or just cease taking 4 to 8 pills of Benadryl. But now we're going to level 2, and this is when we're going to get into a little bit more of a weird territory. So level 2 is 200 to 300 milligrams of Benadryl, and that is 8 to 12 pills. And this is considered the best, range or sweet spot. I'm not even sure what that means, going solely based on doses. Even lower than this one. I would think the first one would have been kind of the sweet spot. I think the one even above that, the therapeutic doses would be the sweet spot. This is the sweet spot? Let's see why they consider this the sweet spot. So, reports go as, this is the range if you don't want to have a full-blown delirious experience. Okay? Sounds fine enough. Music sounds great. You get a very dry mouth. So I don't know how I feel about that. And urination is frequent. Kind of sounds like when I drink way too many energy drinks. So if you want to have those type of experiences, just drink a whole lot of energy drinks, even though, you need to be aware of that as well. Yeah. But your body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Now keep in mind, this is called the sweet spot, folks. So your body feeling like it weighs 1,000 pounds is apparently the sweet spot. But you surprisingly don't feel sleepy at all. So you feel like 1,000 pounds, but you're not sleepy. You're just kind of there, like, I don't want to go to sleep. Sleep is for mortals. I am a Benadryl god, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't sound like a sweet spot to me, but, maybe I'm missing something here. There is more. You might see slight movement in the corner of your eyes, or even see spiders that aren't really there. Do I need to remind you that this is called the sweet spot? Where are they getting this sweet spot term from? This is a sweet spot? I'll continue. Other symptoms at this level are auditory hallucinations, like people calling your name, or footsteps outside your door. Now, I know other substances which could cause these same exact symptoms. I don't recommend them, but yeah. You don't need to just start down in Benadryl to have hallucinations like that. If you want to have that, go, to your local gas station, meet a CD person there, and they could tell you all about it. Don't recommend it, but yeah, I don't know. It's also reported that your short-term memory goes to shit. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but this is called the sweet spot. So if you want to see stuff, you want to feel like 1,000 pounds, you want to see spiders that aren't there, hear voices that aren't there, and you want to have your memory go to Kazooie. Yeah, this is sounds like a sweet spot to me. At this point, I would cease ingestion. Actually, I would have ceased ingestion at erectile dysfunction. Right when that happens, it's like, no, I'm done. But, that's just me. I'm not a Zoomer. I don't know what they're trying to achieve here, but, yeah. That's level 1. Or was that level 1? No, it's level 2, sorry. You know, sorry, maybe I'm taking too much Benadryl too. I'm getting some short-term memory loss. My downstairs carriage is working well. Actually, Rod, my downstairs carriage isn't working too well. Rod from Troutdale. That doesn't seem to matter to him because he wants to wear me like a sock, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Let's just forget about that. Now we're going to level 3, referred to as delirium. Oh, this sounds fun. Why wasn't this a sweet spot? So level 3 is 500 to 700 milligrams of Benadryl, or 20 to 28 pills. People who take Benadryl at this level are considered to be part of what's called the 700 Club. I thought that was like a Christian program, but apparently not. It's not. Is the 700 Club still a thing? I don't know. It is online if you're taking Benadryl. And hallucinations become lifelike. People have reported to have other people come into the room who aren't actually there, including, but not limited to, the police. That sounds like a great time. These imaginary people will speak to you at a very strange, they'll speak to you in a very strange way. Even sinister. They'll say sinister things to you. You know, and you'll start smoking phantom cigarettes, apparently. You know, this is like something straight out of like a Philip K. Dick book. You know? So if you want to be like Philip K. Dick, which, you know, he's one of my heroes, but there was some stuff that he did that I wouldn't repeat. Apparently you want to join the 700 Club. Take 28 pills of Benadryl, which, yet again, I don't recommend at all. So that's level 3. It's just, why? Why? Level 3, and this isn't the only level. We're going further, folks. We're doing a deep dive on this. It's kind of like an iceberg. And I'm not going to be like, you know, what is that guy's Wendigoon? You know, I'm going to do a iceberg thing on this. Fuck that. You know, no offense to any of those people, but no. This is a podcast, okay? And I'm just giving this to you straight, cutting out the fat, whatever. And yeah, so level 3. You know, if you want to be like a character in a Philip K. Dick novel, do level 3. Which please don't. Level 4. I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, but why? Just why? Level 4. God. I mean, just why? But anyway, level 4 is at 700 to 1200 milligrams of Benadryl, or 28 to 48 pills. Now, I could sit here and show you how many Benadryl that looks like. You're practically taking the whole freaking bottle at that point, depending on which ones you buy. But you want to down a whole bottle of Benadryl, then you're going to be at level 4, I guess. Now, obviously, your trip will get progressively stronger. Who would ever thunk? You'll start imagining you're being waterboarded by Dick Cheney at Guantanamo Bay. Okay, I made the last thing up. But your hallucinations can last up to the next few days from ingestion. Why? Just why? I think I'd rather be waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay than do this shit. That's just me. If you want to take the Benadryl challenge to the highest level you can go, first I recommend hardcore psychiatric treatment. But if you desire this madness, then the highest dose is referred to as how's this even pronounced? Is that aerial? So it's not even a level. It's just referred to as aerial. These kids have been playing too many video games. But 1,200 milligrams plus are 48 pills to, up to whoever the fuck knows. So at least 48 pills to, I don't know. Just a lot of fucking pills is to get to this aerial level. I mean, that's why call it aerial level? I just call it hell realm at that point. But when you're on this level, and this is the highest level of the Benadryl challenge, symptoms are sorry, I mean the notes are right in front of me. It's just a lot of stuff here, and I'm perplexed. I even rehearsed this, and I'm thinking like, is this real? But apparently it is. Aerial level. And the symptoms are complete disconnection from reality. Hallucinations tend to become hellish. God, would have fooled me. And there's disturbing and often violent imagery associated with these hallucinations. Here's my shocked face. At this dose, seeing shadow people are common. Who doesn't want to see shadow people? They seem nice, right? Nobody's afraid of shadow people. You want to see shadow people, folks, take the aerial level. Just should be called the shadow people level at that point. And there's even been reports of seeing that cocksucker known as the Hat Man. And yet again, I'm just going to keep beating a dead horse here. Why? Just why? Why do you want to see shadow people? Why do you want to see the Hat Man? Is that, when you're a kid and you wanted, talking about, I want to be an astronaut or a ballerina, it's like, no, teacher, I want to see the Hat Man. Whoever the hell that is. I'm an open-minded person, but come on. I do not want to see the freaking Hat Man. I barely want to see shadow people. I've had experiences with shadow people before, which I'll do another episode on. Never seen the Hat Man before. And I'm in no rush to see any of that shit. But, yeah. It should go without saying, but taking Benadryl at this level can be very harmful to both your mental and physical health. It wasn't clear already. Seizures are common, and you're at a high risk of stroke, heart attack, and even death. If that wasn't already clear enough by what I stated before. So, this is the Benadryl challenge, folks. This is stuff that kids are doing these days, and I'm not trying to make this some, hysteria of, oh, what about the kids? What are we going to do about the kids? It's why are younger people doing this to begin with? I never heard about the Benadryl challenge when I was in my teens or in my 20s or even in my early 30s. I'm 37 right now. I'll be 38 right around the corner. And this is the first time I'm ever hearing about something called the Benadryl challenge. Why don't we do other challenges like the community challenge. Let's pick up some trash. Let's plant some trees. I could get into more, but I think I've kind of been on the shit list with, I won't even refer to the name anymore as far as the powers that be that watch these videos that could decide if I'm pushing an algorithm or not. We'll just call them. Actually, you know what, BMAC? I'm going to call them the gatekeepers. The gateskeepers. See what I did there? But, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Just, And I'm going to do another video on this as well, because there are a lot of weird things that are happening in the country of Japan. If you haven't done your research on that, I believe it's the last decade in Japan is kind of considered as the lost generation. And I know Japan has had a lot of issues with certain forests that people like to go to end themselves, and people keeping themselves trapped in their house until they cease to be. There's all sorts of things I could talk about that, but I think we're slowly getting to that point where we're, mirroring Japan in certain ways. And let's take a lesson from Japan, that we need to start paying attention to our youth a little bit more and try to realize why kids are deciding that this is the best way to go about things. Because we live in topsy-turvy land. We got to quit being, these, pilgrim-like people. The word's escaping me, but, what was it? Hard work is its own reward, and anything that feels good must be bad. You know the word I'm talking about, And we've been living under that spell for far too long, and I think we kind of put our youthful generations into this schizophrenic state where doing something like the Benadryl challenge actually seems like, oh, that's cool. Let's escape from reality, because guess what? Reality fucking sucks. And it doesn't suck because of what's outside. It sucks because of what society has made it be. We're pushing each other too much. We're working each other too much. We're putting too much status on each other, just like in Japan, folks. And this is what we get. You reap what you sow. So I didn't think this was going to be that long of a video, but we're getting over 40 minutes now. So this was just a interesting subject that I wanted to cover. I think this will be the last podcast we do before Halloween. And Halloween is going to be a special month for us, folks, because we'll be doing videos each week for Halloween. We'll be doing the scariest subjects I could think of. And I'm a chicken, so it's hard for me to do that. But, yeah, we have some special things lined up for Halloween. So please keep an eye out for that. We'll make announcements. And, yeah. Sorry, a little indigestion there. I'll drink my soda after I'm done. But that's it. So until next time, embrace the absurd and free your mind, and your ass will follow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.